Mr. DJ New Age taking on Bucky Stratosphere. Banned away now. Volibear, Vel'Koz, and Hecarim, along with Yone, Ivern, and one more to come for Bucky's.
Yep, still one more to come. I do like the Ivern ban. We've had a couple of memes flying around Heavy League chat about the Ivern. I think a lot of those being thrown out by VBO, but nonetheless, maybe seeing that New Age has been trying this one out. I know Potato has pretty deep champion pockets, and we know that Age King also likes to play that one as well. So not going to allow them to have that. There's the Seraphine ban on red side. I do appreciate that Seraphine ban. That champion is still absolutely busted, and I think it should be banned red side every single time it is there. I will say they left the Udyr up. I don't know if Age King plays that, and they're not going to show priority on it. Going to go towards Thresh instead.
Yeah, grabbing the Thresh, but as you were saying, Udyr is still available. Still a champion that can power farm, power gank, power clear, whatever you want. Udyr is your guy. He's the deer. He's here. The bear don't care. He'll do whatever he wants. And Bucky's going to hover that one indeed. We'll see if they decide to pick it up with 5 seconds remaining on the clock. I would assume that they're going to lock that one in and then proceed to counterpick their support. Or they could just grab a strong priority pick. And there you go. The Udyr is locked in for Bucky's. The draft is already looking good. I got to be honest. Giving away Udyr on blue side, that's criminal.
Yeah, it kind of is a little bit criminal. You know, we've seen some teams that don't want to play Seraphine on blue side, but they'll ban it away on blue side to not have priority on Udyr and then not ban it away and then not pick it on blue one. That is a clear weakness in drafting. And I like the scouting that's clearly come out from Bucky's. They know that Age King doesn't play it. They know that New Age doesn't want to play it. They don't ban it, and so they set up the draft perfectly to give themselves a strong counter pick on red side. It also allows them to get that first counter pick in the support position, and they are set up for a very strong draft as the Leona does come in against the Thresh. Is a bit of an interesting one. Thresh is pretty good at disengaging a champion like Leona, but if Thresh is the initial engage, I do think the counter engage is very nice from the Radiant champion there. And there's that Jarvan we talked about. Age King just going to get himself on some comfort as New Age looks to round out their phase one.
And Evan is calling out bullet prints here. They want this Leo Thresh matchup. It's typically seen as a counter matchup for the Leona, right? You try to Zenith Blade in, the Flay away, then you can't land your Shield at Daybreak. That's Leona's critical piece of CC, not the E route. That only lasts for 0.25 seconds. The stun is really what's critical and can then apply more of Leona's passive and things start snowballing from there. But I don't know. Post 6, it is a pretty good matchup for the Leona, but taking this one so early on, especially when you see the Thresh, is a little bit questionable. New Age, though, going to lock in the 4th shot. Marksman, no problems there. Nice and safe, can respect the distance that an Udyr needs. Heimerdinger, though, once again for Bucky's.
Yeah, here it comes once again. And I am not going to say anything about this pick. This could be an 80 carry mid flex, of course. I do think it'll be an 80 carry, but I have no reason to fully commit to that considering where Bucky sits in the standings, how much they've been memeing in chat at the beginning of the day. I'm not committing to anything, but we do know that can end up in mid or 80 carry. We know they played it 80 carry last time. And now we'll see the bans come out. Maybe they will give us a little bit of a hint as to where this is going. You know, if they do ban away some engage or some mid laners, maybe it could go mid. But I do think it would just be smart to counterpick the 80 carry. I'm not exactly sure how good that is into Jhin, though. Jhin is a champion that can pretty much hit from wherever he wants to. You know, he's got W to farm from range. He's got Bouncing Grenade to clear waves as well. He's got decent auto range. So I don't think you're too concerned about farming in this lane. I do think that's not really a kill threat as it is on some other shorter range 80 carries. So likely to just be a dead lane here until like level 6s or if we see the supports roam away from this lane, I would imagine.
Yeah, and a quick break as we get the second phase of bans coming through. Remember to grab your bingo cards, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not already, click that link in chat and see if you can get yourself bingo on the evening. But with the bans coming through, Karthus, Gnar, Vladimir, Orianna, all taken off the board. Lots of focus on the solo laners from these two teams. The only one that's really not fitting in that category is the Karthus, although I already see an Udyr, so it's got to be a solo lane Karthus ban. Nico, though, locked in for Bucky's blind here. It's an interesting pick. I'm curious. I don't know if they can put this one top. I know Bucky's can play at mid, though. Anivia hovered here for New Age. It looks like they're getting a lot of power picks.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating. There's a lot of AP here for the Bucky's composition. I would imagine they'll have to lean towards something AD, and you do have a little bit of flexibility to go pretty bruiser-y. I don't think you really need a tank with Udyr and Leona already in the composition to create a front line. We'll see what New Age is going to lock in. We know that Peter Denunes has played this Anivia before. Still hovering that as the clock ticks down to 0, and I imagine it's just going to be forced to be locked in.
I imagine we're getting a bug. This
Yeah.
website sometimes has a bug, so we will get an update on that one as soon as possible, whether it's going to be resolved immediately or whether we're going to have to use a different party to solve it. But I do like what New Age are doing, right? They're sort of playing into the engage, but allowing themselves to disengage if possible, and I believe it is fixed now. We'll cross our fingers that nothing has gone too wrong as Anivia is locked, and now we're counting down towards the final pick for New Age. They got to get their top laner here for this team. I'm not sure what really they can grab. The Gnar is not blindable. You could get the Aatrox.
Yeah, are a couple of options, but not too many, I would say. I'm not sure if we're moving to another site here. It looks like a full crash of the site, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're just going to go on with the draft, so we are just going to have to kind of tell you because we are so close to the end of it. No real reason to go all the way back through it. It is a Wukong last pick for New Age, so that will be the top lane selection. We'll have to see what Bucky's do answer with for that one. Going to wait and see from our casters who are in the draft with the actual teams at the moment, so they will update us when we do see it. But the Wukong blind is a bit of an interesting one unless you think that the Nico is going top. If it is a Nico top, this should be a pretty strong laning phase for Nico. Of course, does have a lot of kill threat on the Wukong at level 6, and the Shen is going to be the final pick on the red side. So we do now know the positions. It's likely to be the Nico mid, the Heimerdinger 80 carry, and the Shen top into the Wukong, which becomes a much more even matchup in the laning phase in top lane. Can be a bit volatile. The Shen is very strong in the first couple of levels, but at level 6, there will be that kill pressure again coming from Wukong. And, Bucky started out their draft pretty well, Necrox. I don't know about the last 3 picks, though.
Yeah, they were riding high and then took a nice trip down draft lane, and just kind of ran it. I don't know what to tell you. I like the Shen, but it's just not as powerful to me as something else that you could have grabbed with R5, right? When you get this last pick of the draft, that's such a critical tool to tie your whole composition together. You really want to get something that's not only a counter pick to your lane, but also provide a lot to your team fight and counters what most of the enemy team has drafted. But Shen isn't terrible, to be honest. I think really the problem here is the damage profile. You have Heimerdinger, AP, Nico, AP, Shen, who is substantial AP, Leona providing magic damage as well, and Udyr, who is, if you're going to max Phoenix Sands, doing a lot of magic damage. I just don't see a world where this Jarvan and Thresh just don't max out on MR.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Shens in mid to high elo that run Riftmaker first for extended team fights. That is the way the champion is played oftentimes. So as you mentioned, I'm very concerned about the damage profile. I'm also very concerned about the damage output over time. You're not going to build this Nico attack speed like you used to in the past. Like the only way you do damage over time here is with Heimerdinger, and that basically must happen if the enemy team engages on you, which could happen because you're playing against a Jarvan Thresh. Of course, there is a lot there along with the Wukong that can go in, but I mean, you can blow up the front line. You're still going to have a Jhin and an Anivia dealing damage from a mile away. So it just seems very hard for Bucky's to even get their damage out over time to reach the backliners for the side of New Age. And it just seems like a composition. Like, what happens if Leona goes in? Like, you're going to kill the entire backline with Leona Shen? Like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to land some sort of miracle pop blossom, some huge Heimer nades or something. I don't know. It just seems too difficult for Bucky's to be able to pull off and engage with the Shen aggressively and still find a win against disengaged champions like Jarvan and Anivia, right? The wall goes up quite literally. The Cataclysm on top. You got this big glacial storm that denies a lot of area of access as well, so could be really, really rough. But Bucky's, they have the tools to do what you're talking about. get into lanes and get into lanes early. Leona, Udyr, Shen all love moving across this map nice and early. As soon as that Stand United's available, I fully expect Bucky's to hit those R buttons and start committing to fights.
Yeah, I do expect a lot of roaming. A Heimerdinger, similar to someone like an Ezreal, is going to be an extremely safe pick. I mean, nobody wants to dive a Heimerdinger. That just sounds like a terrible idea. That sounds like the kind of stuff I was doing in middle school after school when I had nothing better to do with my buddies. Like, bad idea. Don't do that. You don't dive Heimer under turret. So that should allow Eben to just roam across the map, try to support Array's plays on this Udyr. They'll have the Shen to come over the top, and that is their way into this game. They're going to need to get an early game lead. They're going to need to get some kills onto Array, potentially onto Shen as well, because if they don't, again, this just seems like such a difficult comp to play out in a team fighting situation. Unless the entire enemy composition piles onto your Heimerdinger, you're just not going to be able to get enough damage out to take down this Anivia, to take down this Jhin before they take you down. So I do want to see some very proactive plays coming out from Bucky's, because I think they need it to get the objectives in a more free or advantageous position so they don't have to take 5v5s.
I'm 100% on that train with you, DJ. I think they need to be proactive, aggressive, look for early game plays. But I got to pick your brain a little bit more. I want to dive a little bit deeper. I want to see Bucky's pull out a win. I'll be honest. I'm riding the hype train. Yes, their playoff chances are dead. They can't make it. They haven't won a game all season. But I still want to see it. Like, there's something in the back of my mind that's just like, come on, Bucky's. I know you've got it in you. That backdoor almost put me to tears when it happened. So one final thought from you, TJ. Where do we watch? If there's one person that's going to grab Bucky's this win, who are you getting in their backpack? Whose back are you sitting on, riding on if you're a Bucky's fan tonight, hoping that they carry you to the Nexus?
So usually my answer is Array, but today Array is not on Hecarim, which makes it a little bit trickier. I think Array can be the setup man, so I am watching Array in the early game to see how he can set up his lanes. But if this game is going to be won damage-wise, fight-wise, it's going to have to be won by Silver Spurge. Nico is the only champion that's going to be able to do enough damage to the backline to actually win these fights. Heimerdinger can take care of the front line when it dives into you, but Nico Shen has to take care of the backline. So I am looking at Silver Spurge to make these pop blossoms happen, to be clever in the fights, and hope that Array does enough in the early game alongside Eben to set Silver Spurge up with items, with kills, to be able to do that in the mid to late game.
Absolutely love it. Silver Spurge, our eyes are on you, man. The hopes ride high on the Nico and crash down hard with a pop blossom, but with a minute 20 left on spectator delay, Bucky's still looking for their first win after their really only one was ripped away from them in the most heart-wrenching fashion possible. Last week as well, man, this team has been through some trauma, but New Age looking to push for that playoff spot. We'll be back in just over a minute with our game with our casters, Juicebox, Sky, and Doctor to give you the action. Stay tuned.
Nice. So that was going to be Juicebox Guy introducing us, but don't you worry, folks. We'll get them back in just a second, and I do think we have Juicebox back.
Got kicked out. I don't know what happened. I am back. Welcome to the Riff. My name is Bucky. This is Doctor, and we are ready to rock and roll. Game 1 between New Age and everybody's sweetheart team, Bucky's. And I don't know about you, Doctor. I'm excited to see this no AD team work.
It can work, right? If you look at the side of New Age, they don't actually have a true to life tank, right? Like they don't have an Ornn, they don't have a Scion, they don't have a Nautilus or a Leona, and so everybody here is actually going to be fairly squishy. There is obviously Verdant barrier or whatever the heck that item's called that obviously is pretty good, but I mean truly they don't have like somebody that's just gonna be maxing magic resistance. So there is a world in which case they just explode somebody, right? Like we've all seen just the absolute monsters burst that can come out of Udyr right now. They could just pop whoever goes in or whoever they catch, especially with that sunlight passive that Evan's going to be rocking on the Leona. It could work. We're going to have to wait a couple items to find out.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It could work. There's nothing that, 100% says, hey, this ain't going to happen. There is an Anivia with a beautiful, beautiful ultimate that can slow him down pretty bad. And there's a good amount of CC options to follow up with. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be an easy task. But hey, possible. And Bucky's, it just seems like that has been the word of the split for them. It's possible. It could happen. You don't know. But we'll have to see this game if they're able to do what they just barely missed out on last time.
Yeah, and like you're saying, this Anivia wall is pretty good. They're hopefully going to be able to break right through that, though. And they, there are a couple of members of Bucky who will be able to do so. Slim Kim, Eben.
Oh, man. Okay, there's one thing you never do against a Heimerdinger, and that's stand and trade outside of the initial burst. First blood going over to Eben on the Leona, and Blazing Bronze.
Flash?
No, unable to trade it back. I think if he flashed forward there, he might have been able to get the kill, but it is risky since heal was still up for the Heimerdinger.
The good old heal bait strat. It gets me every time, I will say. But you're right, you cannot stand in those turrets. You just eat so much damage, and it's just non-stop action.
Ooh, Slim Kim. He walks it out. He gets away. He's gonna stay alive. But yeah, that got a little bit of diciness there for him. But it's Shin, right? Shin's kind of one of the best safe champions you can play.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the pre-show, right? Everybody's got to get together. Kumbaya, stand united on this front into the magic resistance. And look at this, already getting a little bit of help.
Array's on Potato. Potato's just going to get burst down. Red buff is going to finish him off. Array trying to run outside of the backside of the tower. And H-King, I don't know for sure if he wins this. It looks like he's got it. It's going to be very close, but no. H-King able to trade that one back. However, we do have 1,000 gold lead for Bucky's. Is this it, Doctor? Do we finally get to see Bucky's come in hot?
This might be the game. They're setting themselves up nicely for it. They're getting gold where it counts. The Leona getting first blood could be better, but the Udyr got a kill. Already has those lucidity boots. It's 4 minutes into the game, and they are thumbing right now. Cooldowns aplenty. And they're in a good spot. If they can keep up this type of pressure, it's going to start getting a little overbearing. They are going to have to do something about the Anivia, though. Altruist is the biggest problem for this Bucky's composition overall. And as long as that Anivia gets free farm and is allowed to stack up, the tier and the gold stacks, that's a problem. Getting the side lanes going is a good answer to it, though. I don't think we're really going to see a mid lane gank, so I do think that Array is going to be spending a lot of time up in top lane.
Yeah, you're completely correct about the Anivia. I mean, when she got popular again, that was my permaban. Fallen off slightly, but still not enough to where it's not a notable ban. I played against a Katarina, so now that's my permaban. But for a long time, it was this Anivia. Anivia just has so much damage, and it's so easy to deliver it to the enemy team. I don't know, that is a Pog champ if you've ever seen one. And Alterus is a very decent mid laner, right, in this league. I mean, maybe he's not on the top of the leaderboards for mid, but he is one of the better players. And with Age King on one of these supportive, like tanky bruiser junglers, I think this duo is definitely going to be super dangerous to deal with. But speaking of Age King, he's got the kill, yes, but he is still like 300 gold. He's a full pair of boots behind his opposing jungler, and that gap is gonna be growing if Array can keep this going. Array is the man we all kind of rely on to carry for Bucky's. So Array is exactly where he wants to be and has another top lane gank ready to go. However, the Cyclone is ready to rock for Potato Senpai, so he's gonna have to leave for the time being.
Yeah, I do think that Age King on this, helpful jungler is a good thing that they can get going. Obviously the first blood, I think is actually kind of bait though, if I'm going to be honest with you, because Jarvans have this tendency to go counter to what their team really needs, right?
Oh.
And by picking up that Iron Spike whip,
oh, Potato Senpai is so done for. Throw
right.
that potato in the deep fryer because you are going to get a good meal out of that. And now in the mid lane, Alterus is Egg Nivea. He has been egged, and there's just no way that Silver Spurge is going to be able to deliver the damage necessary to break through it. But having that passive down on such an immobile champ is going to be glory for Array.
Yeah, no omelets just yet. We will have to wait to see those get cooked up. Slim Kim's playing with fire. This is hyper dangerous. I don't know why you're still here.
Potato is actually not winning the. Oh, okay, well, yeah, he got the Q back. The damage was so awesome coming from Slim Kim. He's got the Bramble, he's got the Bammies. So, and he had a giant minion wave. Everybody was just wailing on the Wukong. Wukong, whatever. I mean, he's still gonna be able to win that in the end.
Yeah, I mean, having the Sheen proc on top of everything else there, it's a lot of damage if you're not expecting it. So great stuff there. I do want to touch back on Age King, going this more damaging style route, picking up that Iron Spike whip. Obviously you can build it into the Stride Breaker, which will be helpful. I don't think we're going to see Gore Drinker. The item just it doesn't seem as good as Stride Breaker. It just doesn't, the numbers don't add up. But I kind of wish they would have gone something a little bit more defensive and gone that more tanky Jarvan route, and that's where I kind of think the first kill for them kind of baited them in, right? Like they get that kill early on due to some overaggression of Array, and they're like, oh, I can be a damage threat, I can be problematic for the enemy team. The problem there is because of how defensive this team is, there's a large chance that when Jarvan just dives in there and drops the Cataclysm and tries to be super useful, he's just going to explode, right? Like imagine Jarvan jumping onto like a triple turret Heimerdinger.
I am imagining it. I don't have to imagine Potato just getting the tar beaten out of him. Oh man, Slim Kim coming up clutch for the squad, and H King in the jungle is pulling the same thing in the river. Now H King has the flag and drag. He's able to get away, but I really enjoyed seeing that in the top lane. Slim Kim has not been a great top laner this split, and he's getting the better of an opposing top laner, Potato Senpai. Come on, man. That was kind of a charity right there.
Yeah, Slim's definitely had their struggles this season. I think a lot of it has kind of been the draft, and I think we've touched on Bucky's draft a lot over this season. I mean, we've seen like Cho'Gath top, Sion top, other things that just don't really seem to work at a certain level. So when we do see them on something a lot simpler like this Shen and being gifted free kills like that, it is a great sign for Slim Kim to still have life in them, right? Still not have just been completely beaten down in this top gap world. So it's great to see them doing well, being able to recover. They have the CS advantage, they have a massive item advantage already, even though it's just scraps versus scraps, and it's going to be a long time before this Wukong actually becomes online, considering they went the tier route, right? Like there's only 51 stacks on this tier, and we're 90 something minutes into the game, or not 90, 10, sorry.
Yeah, we've been here for a half hour, but Silver Spurge is gonna be here for an eternity. I don't think Pop Blossom is gonna do a whole lot for you here, pal. Array coming in and running away, because that is just a guaranteed kill. Alterus has you know, he's on the board now, and you don't want Alterus to get ahead on these control mages. He will doom you. Eben, though, could be in a bit of trouble. Chaser has the hook completely.
Oh, they got the flash still.
Yeah, did get the flash, which that's very unfortunate. Leona's live or die by that flash a lot of the time on their engages.
Yeah, no Hex Flash either. So let's take a look at this, see what they opted into instead. Looks like they went Biscuits, which is the inspiration tree. So no Hex Flash there. It's Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. So going for the cooldown route, making sure that the Zenith Blade's up as often as possible, the engage potential as often as possible. Personal choice there. So it is just, I want to use my abilities more. So makes sense. The Biscuits also help in the lane because it is going to be more of a getting poked lane, right? Like you're playing into Jin Heimerdinger. Like you don't have a good way to, secure the lane and make sure that you're always going to be healthy. So the Biscuits there do a good job of keeping you topped off, making sure you're healthy enough to survive a potential engage and potentially do a counter engage. This top lane is going to get a little bit of help from Shelly. I don't know if Slim Kim's going to be able to push that through.
That was a great solar flare. The box is going to help a little bit, but not nearly enough. Macro Beast getting a kill onto Blazing Bronze. And oh, look at how close the cleanse was to being available. That was so disappointing. He almost had it, and I just can't believe he didn't flash it. He saw the teleport. He saw all the signs. It was like, I got this.
That's a lot of damage, Ray.
Yeah, that's already hurting a lot.
Thankfully, though, they already have that turbo chem tank completed, so they actually get the charge off on the Herald, too. So you just see the 160 gold pop up over Ray's head, and he's just, that stonks right there, right?
Yeah.
You pop the top lane, and you just get 160 gold for free? Easy money. But yeah, I mean, you saw how nicely Bucky's were able to layer their crowd control in that bottom lane gank. And you're right. I mean, there was the flash potential. You can very easily flash the solar flare. It's something that people have been doing for decades at this point, it seems like. And so because the cleanse have been burned, just before that, right? Like we saw them actually get hit by a Heimer grenade in that bottom bush, and they decided to cleanse that, fearing the 2v2. And because of that type of play, because of that, opposite of hesitation, twitchiness, I don't know the word, juice box, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but they didn't have the summoner spell. It was at the end of the day what mattered, and they died for it.
Yeah, no, you're completely correct. And I also want to talk about how intelligent it was. They ganked the bot lane. That bot lane gank wasn't designed to work. It just happened to work. It was designed to get Shelly all the way to the tower, and it worked beautifully. That's why that charge got off on the top side, is because everybody on the side of New Age had to run to the bottom lane to try to help out their bottom side. I actually think that while I think that was I have to use this Shelly, it could not have been executed better.
It's a happy little accident.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I like to think it was on purpose. I don't want to think of that one as an accident.
I definitely subscribe to the more Bob Ross mentality, right? But like you said, it worked. They got the 160 gold. They got the dragon. Slim Kim may be fearing some consequences, though.
Slim Kim is in big trouble, but here comes a Ray coming in as fast as a deer can, and Potato Senpai getting chunked out real hard. Slim's going to flash away. That's going to buy him a little bit of a time, and a Ray with the red buff pounding away at Senpai. Now in the Cataclysm, but I think he's A-okay. He's got the stand united, and a Ray turns it for the double kill. Alterist has arrived. He's doing a lot of work to a Ray. A Ray with one sliver of health and double buffs to Anivia is bad. Getting 2 kills onto Udyr is worse.
Yeah, he's definitely got the magic number KDA going on there as well. Huge play coming in there. The Cataclysm tried to trap him under the tower, but it was just angled enough that Array was able to get to safety. Stand United on top of that, just giving scratch my back, scratch yours, and they come out ahead for it. Yes, Alterist is, being some cheeky about it now.
Stand on the lantern, Leona. You can do it. Alterist, though.
Wait, the tower.
He's just walking it, man. He's going for a stroll in the park. Health bar doesn't matter at all. There's the play onto Eben, though. Deadly Flourish is going to miss. And I have to say, these Deadly Flourishes have been off all game.
They do leave me a little wanting. Soul check, by the way. We're at 1 Dark Harvest stack for Blazing Bronze.
Wanting. I like that. Oh, H-King coming in, but there's no stand united. Hey, that's how you flash and engage. Blazing Bronze, pull out your notepad because that was really nicely done there. Potato Senpai and Alterus are onto Array, but Slim Kim in the wings, able to keep him safe, and Array's just going to continue right on his merry way to the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Scuttle Crab, potentially the Herald as well. And with all this time that Alterus has spent out of lane, it's been Silver Spurge able to pick up some minion waves, able to close that gap a little bit, and, you know, is able to catch up. They're still down about a minion wave, but they've completed their first item. They now have their mythic. It is going to be that Everfrost Nico, which is kind of scary if anybody remembers the old GLP Nico that was kind of bonkers. This one's running Electrocute instead of glacial augmentation.
Right.
So it's in a way less scary, in a way more scary. I don't really know the exact differential there, but the item is so good. Everfrost has been kind of skyrocketing up the tool and the tier list of what good mythics are because they've buffed it. They've just buffed it into oblivion, and first brick is going to fall to Bucky's. They are continuing the momentum in an upwards trajectory.
Yeah, Buckies are doing a great job. They have a nice 2.5k gold lead. Slim Kim, I don't think he's in too much trouble here. I mean, he's been winning these trades so consistently against Potato, but Potato wants the fight. However, with the Frostfire Gauntlet, that's just going to be so hard to really capitalize on. Best case scenario, you chunk him out, and then he slows you and taunts away. Worst case scenario, he will sit there and he will kill you. Also, Array, the straight line technique has been used for generations, but against an Anivia, it just, you know, serpentine that bad boy.
Unfortunately, Juicebox Guy, the hitbox is massive.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm asking for a very, very swervy serpentine here, but you got to do it because Anivia is gonna blow you up if you just sit there and run straight at him. Chaser though. Ooh, this could be big. Array doesn't dodge out the snowball, and now he is just getting melted. He is trying to put the damage onto Alterus, and he's still alive. He's still hanging in there. They are unable to get him. Now he's finally going to drop. Meanwhile, on the backside of the fight, Potato Senpai is getting... his clone's getting wailed on, but he is as well. Now Slim Kim about to fall as well. There's Agnivia. Curtain Call has been used to try to buy a little bit of time for that Agnivia to come right back to life, but it will not be enough. There's your omelet and put it on the fryer. Now Blazing Bronze actually going to Gale Force and flash away. Evan is taken very, very low here, and it is a 2v3, now 1v3. Silver Spurge, the last remaining member of Bucky's. Thresh, you have 0 health. Don't walk straight at him. Now Silver Spurge will finally get knocked up and will finally get put out to pasture. Big team fight win for New Age, and everybody hoping for a Bucky's win here. Has that sinking pit of despair, and I do as well.
That was definitely a hard-fought team fight, though. There were a lot of instances.
There's nothing for Blazing Bronze to get away. Oh, he got the lantern. Chaser just had enough mana for it. There are not 2 lanterns. You only get the 1, and Dragon nicely delivered for Array. That is the advantage, baby, of dying first in the team fight. Big strats.
Also having a bajillion move speed, that kind of helps too. Having the shoulder plus the chem tank, just everything on top of each other. Array just bulldozes their way through, gets the dragon, gets a kill with a shutdown. By the way, there was bonus gold attached to that kill. So after the team fight, which was really close, honestly, I think Bucky's, if they'd had one more thing go their way, or if Ray hadn't had the unfortunate sequence of events where they just go flying off the blast cone, I think that would have been a lot more competitive, and they either go even or potentially even win the team fight.
There's no egg! That is just a solo kill. Get out your bingo cards, ladies and gentlemen, because there's your solo kill. Anivia dropping in the mid lane, and Silver Spurge with the electrocute. I mean, that's why you take it.
Yeah, it's a big, healthy chunk of damage, and Nico's going to come out ahead there for just landing 2 abilities, pretty much, which is what the champion's not necessarily designed to do, but it works, right? Like that's what the mid lane champion does right now. It clears waves, it does a billion damage, and moves the tape forward. It's inches by inches, but eventually you're going to hit that first down. You're going to get this tower as well. And note on the bingo cards, I know it said Ocean Soul, but does that mean Ocean Soul was taken, or it is the Ocean Soul occurring? I gotta ask because I checked that box.
Potato, use that opportunity to run away. What are you doing? This is a almost 2 item shin, and there's an array right there. Oh no, just a nightmare for Potato Senpai. He is the senpai, but right now he's looking more like the grasshopper. 1 in 6 getting taught a huge lesson on the top side. This is outrageous.
Definitely looking quite like a baka, but for now, I do love that they're actually giving the kills to Array, right? Like that is a carry point here. It's not Slim Kim who needs all these kills to be useful and relevant because they're the tank. They're already ahead. They got 2 completed items, lots of armor. I do want to see them pick up some magic resist because as we've already seen, Ultrist hurts, but giving Array that kill is going to make them that much bigger, give them more stats that they need, more movement speed to continue thumbing around the map and just being a menace. Like imagine just even more move speed on top of this and, you know, getting to these dragon fights. Like you can split push with the Udyr so easily that even if that's not a win condition,
stop straight lining, Array. Okay, he goes right in, he goes right out once again, but hey, Altruist already dead. Uses the flag and drag, uses the lantern, uses it all in the kitchen sink. Nice job getting that cleanse plus the Gale Force out of Blazing Bronze here. And you're not going to beat these guys in a siege. They have so much poke. They have a Heimerdinger. You can't engage on them, and you can't stand still either. That should be this mid-outer tower dropping Macro Beast. There's 1 wrench. There's a second wrench. 1 more. Come on. There it is. And Macro Beast will secure that tower for the team. After the team fight around the Dragon Pit, this game got so close. It was less than 1,000 gold apart. Now we're back up to a 3,000 gold lead for the side of Bucky's, and I don't want to spoil anything. That's all on Array.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly where you want it.
Why go Serpentine when you could just get so tanky? You can just run straight at them and not worry about it, right? Like you just keep building up the stat bar. You're gonna stat stick them into oblivion, and that's what we're seeing so far from Array. Is they're building up all of these defensive statistics so that they're unkillable to a certain degree, and then just W King at them, just no remorse, no repentance, and unrelentingly. Like that team fight. You saw they ran in, they got hooked up by Chaser, and then once they got collapsed upon, it was like 5v1 at that point. And they just said, yeah, whatever. We're just going to, you know, redirect a little bit. As soon as they saw Altruist, bear formed, slapped him in the face, and everybody then dogpiled onto the Anivia, which is great to see because it means they're communicating. It means that they're recognizing what the problem champion on New Age is, and they're attacking that problem champion. They're not ignoring it. They're coming up with the solution, and they're building upon that because once that Anivia goes down, the team fight just completely falls away. Potato Senpai's Wukong just non-factor. 162 is up or is even in CS, but that's it. Like one item, barely, you know, stacking the tier, but I think they've included a little bit of their own, just the ability usage.
Yeah, this Wukong is basically a walking knockup now. It has really nothing else to offer. He's not tanky, so he can't oh no, Altruists. It's a tight corridor on the Bryce side, so hard to Serpentine in there. But yeah, they have to be so careful because there's so much poke that it does not take much to just murder the entire side of New Age. Dragon's getting started. It's very slowly being chipped away at by Array and some towers as the rest of the team is just ready to rock and roll. There is the turret. Oh, H-King coming in so clutch for his team. Now, how does the fight go afterwards? They already are blowing up everyone. Potato Senpai and Co are dying on the front side of this fight. Array tried to get on to Blazing Bronze and Altars, but it doesn't matter. So great, you got the Dragon, but you lost 3 members. Baron is available. They are looking for these final 2, and if they can get them, this could be what breaks this game open. Altaris is a Ignivia as the rest of the team chases after Blazing Bronze. I saw the flash pop, so Blazing Bronze able to run it out and finally using that flash to an efficient means. But that's a 4-for-1. This could be an inhibitor. This could be Baron. And honestly, it looks like it's going to be the Baron.
Yeah, I gotta throw some shade at our analyst desk for a little bit, Juicebox, because they were saying, is the Leona Shen going to be enough to threaten this backline in New Age? And I'm here to say, who cares? They have Udyr! Udyr alone just completely kept the backline busy. 1v2ing both Altruist and Blazing Bronze. And it doesn't matter that they didn't just straight up kill them, right? Array was the distraction. They didn't die. They had the tank stats to be able to tank both of them. Imagine that. The Anivia with 3 kills, 2 items. The Jhin, 2 kills, 2.5 items. They combined, they weren't enough to kill the Udyr, who just did whatever they wanted, and the rest of the team just casually melted through the Divine Sunderer Wukong and the Gore Drinker Jarvan. This is the problem I was talking about with Jarvan. They got baited into the offensive build instead of going something like the Chem Tank or the Iron or the Frozen Fist.
Yeah, I really dislike the build from Age King. I mean, your team doesn't really have a front line, right? You can't rely on Thresh to be your tank because he takes forever to get to the point where he can actually tank anything. You already have a top laner that's going damage, which I also think is a mistake, but whatever, do you? And Jarvan builds so nicely into that bruiser 80 damage sort of build. This is just, I don't know, it's like a off-brand assassin-ish build. There's only sustain in 1 item. You're gonna get blown up by this squad, and you cannot step up to a Heimerdinger with this build either. He will destroy you. Potato Senpai, though, caught out once again on the bottom side, and while Cyclone did look very pretty, it is not going to be nearly enough to stay alive.
This is a really interesting build I'm seeing out of Spurge as well. They followed up the Averfrost with the Horizon Focus, so damaging, with a non-targeted ability, 700 range, rada, or immobilizing them reveals them. And I think that portion is actually super interesting because of how easy it is for the Nico to fully immobilize a team fight, right? Taking advantage of that Pop Blossom, you can very easily get 3, 4, 5 man, snares and become incredibly problematic. And what also happens is that bonus 10% damage incoming, so it's meaningful in a certain degree. And right now, with that kill, Potato Senpai being taken off the map has completely caused the team to kind of clump up together, and they're losing objectives because of it. They lost the tier 2 top, the tier 2 bot, and now it is just going to be a bit of a regroup as we look at the gold. Lots of money here. 600 on Eben is going to be the lowest point, with as much as 2,800 there onto Array, who with 3 fully completed items is looking to get more.
Yeah, he's not even close to full power. He's like Shaggy right now. It's like 10% of what this Udyr can be, and this Udyr can be a lot more. He's already level 17. He is higher than everybody on the side of New Age by 2 levels, and that's being optimistic if you just want to count Anivia. This Udyr is literally out of the realm of contention for all 5 of the on New Age, and frankly, I think you could take even just any 2 of them, and you're still gonna have a really hard time dealing with this guy.
It looks like Array went back to base and full bot Aranduin's Omen.
Ooh, that's a big hook. Flay is nice too. They are CC locking him to hell and back. Array gets the Cataclysm next, but look, he's getting the shields. He's got the Stand United. It channels with a 3-man taunt, followed up by the Solar Flare. Pop Blossom doesn't really find anybody, but they still win the team fight in dramatic fashion. That could be the game. That could be what they need to get that first number that isn't a 0 in the win column.
This is looking amazing. I mean, it is a 3-for-1 because the team's New Age is just like, we gotta kill Udyr. He's the only one's doing anything. Turns out when you fight in a corridor, Heimerdinger, Nico, Leona, and Shen are pretty dang good as well. Some could say even better than the Anivia, who has gone from a 3-1 scoreline to now a 3-5 5 scoreline, and they are fighting in the Anivia's domain, mind you. It's just that they simply can't kill Array. The guy is too tanky, man, too tanky, and is just running around doing whatever he wants, and I don't see when that's going to stop yet from the team of New Age. I don't know when they get to a point where they can actually stop that.
Oh, he missed the stun.
Still gets him to half HP, which is pretty impressive. I would have liked to see them get the dragon by now. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Build a collector.
Seriously.
10% execution.
Little wrench to finish them off.
Oh, man, that'd be brutal. But look at this. I mean, they waited so long on the dragon. The steal potential is here again.
Yeah, they did. They were waiting for Array to come back. Curtain Call is up, but I think after that kill, all that they're going to be saying on the side, well, actually, they're just going to disengage. They got the dragon. They're going to be happy with that. I like it. Humbleness.
Yeah,
know your limit.
Not overextending, which is great. They're also sending supers into the base as well. Baron is up in 30 seconds, so I do think that with this last recall, it is going to be potentially the final fight. The final showdown is coming in here. Could be the Buckies getting their second W. I don't really know how we want to classify this, since they did technically win a game back a couple weeks ago, and we some unfortunate circumstances deleted it, just like Thanos. So I mean, they're looking amazing this game. It's 21-10. They have a 10k gold lead, call it, and this next Baron could potentially just close this out, even if it's for free, right? Like, if New Age don't even fight for this Baron and just give it up, there's enough pushing power on the side of Bucky's, between the Udyr, between the Shen, to head into a side lane and just push it down, let the minions in the mid lane just do their own thing. But if New Age decide this is their time, this is when they want to make their comeback started, and they lose, that just ends the game right there.
Yeah, no, you're entirely correct. I mean, it's so hard for New Age. You know, even if you just look champion to champion, the only two people on the side of New Age that are going to be dealing any sort of real significant damage are now that Anivia and Jhin, right? Wukong already past the point of relevance. I mean, he can't. I would be scared to see Potato fight against Eben at this point. You know, Age King J4 is a bit of that early mid game jungler who's supposed to get a big lead before he's literally just a walking CC. Oh no, Array is so out, or no, I'm sorry, not Array. Slim Kim is so out of position. However, on the bright side, that means Baron has started up. Teleport expended to try to get themselves a little bit closer. They are not melting this Baron very fast. Curtain Call used already, and is Silver Spurge down to about a 5th health. Potato able to get the kill. Now they have the Baron. Can they get away? Age King is on to Eben. Eben running it out, trying to keep herself alive, and Age King will finish it off with the Cataclysm. They are down to just Array and Macro Beast, and Macro Beast looks like he is not long for this world. How long can he kite it out? Array, what are you doing? Get out of here, you madman. The Zanyas might be what Array needs to get out of dodge. The Baron recall, it goes off. Okay. Oh, they get away with one Baron. That was not worth it at all.
There was so much gold that went to Potato Senpai. They literally got like 1,600 gold in shutdowns. I don't know if it's gonna matter is the problem though, right? Like, they are able to go back, pick up their Black Cleaver in a couple portions. They lose the Baron, but they take it off of 4 members. Now Array has a choice, right? Do they, drop the Gage, drop the Kayn, and go full split push Udyr? Or do they continue to assist the team for the next couple minutes, but there's a minute and a half till Dragon, and it can either be that Ocean Soul for the Buckies, which is amazing. Ocean Soul, one of the best you can pick up. It keeps everybody so healthy. These sieges would be incredible for them because of just the sustain that it gives. Whereas if they lose it, it's only 3rd Dragon for New Age, and we go again in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to find out in a minute. Right now, you are seeing the split push Udyr come out, but that is a hungry Udyr, so he's trying to peek into the jungle, see if he can find himself any juicy camps to snack on. Unfortunately for him, it is completely clear. Yeah, there's the Serpentine Array. No, there's not the Serpentine Array. You gotta dodge those, my guy, but I like the Lucidity boots. I honestly would have preferred to have seen Mercury treads on him, just to get that extra tenacity. Because it's going to be really hard for him, as Anivia scales up stronger and stronger, and eventually they will be able to deal with what Array is going to be able to put down, unless he's just not in the team fight, and you need him in these team fights. You got stunned up again, Serpentine, my lad. There's the hook and all of the CC to follow. Array's in big trouble. Cataclysm gonna finish him off. Pop Blossom is on 2-2, and now Potato Senpai is ravaging the back line. I believe this is Slim Kim, stunned up, rooted up, grabbed up by a hook, and just disaster for Bucky's. No! What are you doing? You can do it. It's not over yet, but you gotta use that big thinky thing and start making better decisions. Macrobee's the only member remaining, but Wukong is finally delivering death's blows.
Update on Dark Harvest. Jin is up to 13. So,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
Cool. Neat. But what is Bucky's? What is happening? All right, Juice Box. Here's what I'm going to break down for you. We're seeing Array has hit the point many Udyr players hit where they forget it's not 15 minutes into the game and they have a 3-item advantage. Now that everybody is online and there's not a whole lot of objectives to take, they're playing hyper aggressively and they're getting caught out, unfortunately, which, because New Age has recognized their problem to the team is Udyr, they are just all inning this champion. And what we're seeing from Bucky's is that because they can't make cross-map plays, especially in that situation where he was on the same side of the map as the rest of the team, they then try to go full Saving Private Array. And what we're seeing from New Age is that they're aware of the situation. They just drop all of their massive AoE fields. And because of how Bucky's team is situated, they just melt, right? Like they're sitting in this glacial storm from Alterus. They're getting knocked up by the Wukong, both the clone and the real thing. And they're just so immobile and so squishy that they're falling apart at that point. And then Array dies, and what do they do at that point, realistically, right? Like, Macro Beast needs turrets to do damage, and they're just dying. Slim Kim needs to be, on top of somebody to keep them alive. They die. Eben is Leona. They only know how to go forward, so she dies. And Silver Spurge is making the best out of a bad situation, and they had opportunity there, but flashes were still available for New Age, so it didn't quite come together with these next couple of objectives. Baron once again in a minute. That was a very quick timer, I will say. It feels like just 30 seconds ago we were fighting for the Baron, but we go again, and once again, this could be the game deciding team fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, since last Baron, Bucky's have died, I think, 9 times, right? They just got aced. They lost 4 on the Baron. Barons have not been pro Bucky's this game, They got the first one, that looked good. After that, it's just been completely null and void for them. I really, really hate, thinking back, obviously hindsight's 2020, how they didn't try to put more pressure on the base with the last 3-man advantage they got. Now Array walking forward once again gets hooked up, and I have a harrowing thought that this could just be something to come, but that is a good start, but it's on the Thresh. Do not use all your abilities onto him. Array already getting blown up. He uses the slow onto Chaser. They are going all in for a Thresh. Flashes over the wall. Misses the death sentence, but that is just okay. Shin just gets exploded by Blazing Bronze, and that's a double kill. That's the triple kill. He's going for the Penta. He wants it real bad, and they should, by almost all means, be able to get it. Silver Spurge stuck in the Cataclysm. And, Blazing Bronze is just blowing people up. This could be it, ladies and gentlemen. Once more, so close to the cusp of victory. And once again, before they take it, they decide to chuck it as far as their arms can get it.
Potato Baka definitely stealing away the Penta there. So unfortunate for Blazing Bronze. We kind of memed on him a little bit in the early game, and that messed up dive in the bottom lane. But this time, it's working out. 11 1 and 8. Dark Harvest Jin is online, has been online, and with this Baron buff, they are going to be getting a lot. There is still very short timers available. I mean, Macro Beast is going to be up in a second, but just look at how quickly these, towers just absolutely melt. It's like butter in a hot blender. It just goes.
Yeah, yeah, the old chicka chicka chicka. I
I
just
think your blender's broken.
I just think that honestly, but it's just a simple issue that Bucky's didn't know how to close this game out, right? Like they had everything, they had all of the pieces in place, and they couldn't do it. Now, Alterist is doing his fair share of damage, but Blazing Bronze, that's full build Jin. Okay, you don't let Jin get the full build because he'll two tap you. You saw him crit with the Collector Slim Kim for about 1,300 health, like, and just finish him off. There's a 1,400 damage crit right there. I don't see how Bucky's is going to be able to win these team fights anymore unless they're able to kill Blazing Bronze, who has all sums ready to go.
Yeah, the Jin just cannot be
Oh.
surviving these team fights, and that ward definitely didn't know what hit it. Almost 2,500 damage there. It's beefy. And I mean, look at all right. So Array, main battle tank, right? The big MBT there actually took damage from Blazing Bronze, and it's still there, right? Like it's not healed up already. It's there. Look at that. Was one auto attack, not even a fourth shot, just a singular auto attack doing that much damage to Array, and they're stalemated. There's just nobody wants to be the one to go in. But honestly, I think New Age just pulled the trigger here, right? Sacrifice Age King. Chaser can do what they want as long as Blazing Bronze just auto attacks. They win.
Oh, Jin secures it because at the end of the game, Jin auto does more than smite, and now the fight is on. Array is looking to get onto Blazing Bronze, but boom! Blazing Bronze just pops him with one shot. Pop Blossom on the H-King isn't going to do a whole lot of nothing, and now the whole team of Buckies, they were looking for the Stratosphere, but they are only going to find Hades because they are getting burnt. That will be the game, ladies and gentlemen, as Bucky's fail to find their first win, and H-King refused to bear that title.
Yes, there's still a game two potentially, but yeah, I mean this one, literally snapping defeat from the jaws of victory was Bucky's, and it is unfortunate that Blazing Bronze was able to get to a point where they were just unstoppable, right? Like they do way too much damage, and I mean that was one auto. Again, it just hurts so much. They do get everything the Jin could want, and the team of New Age was set up to defend the Jin.
To us in your